Welcome into Sports Memo's NFL opening line report, NFL style with Teddy Covers. Teddy, welcome in. Happy Monday morning to you.
Hey, how you doing today, Drew?
I'm doing good, man. We got Monday Nighter, and then we're breaking down the full NFL card for week 7, Teddy, in the NFL? Is that it?
Yeah, the college football season's half over. The NFL's, reached almost at the halfway point. It's time,
Yeah, where does the time go, man? But, man, we got an NFC division battle here up north in Lambeau Field, 45.5, 3.5. The Packers laying at home. There is a 3 out there at Penny. No, excuse me, that's gone. It's 3 at Chris minus juice, but 3.5 everywhere else. That's the Packers laying at home in tonight's Monday Nighter. You got any quick thoughts before we get to the opening line report?
Yeah, I mean, I'm involved on this game. It's $9 right now at sportsmemo.com. I've got a side play for tonight on this contest. I think you can make a very reasonable case for Detroit coming out of the bye week. They've owned the Packers. The Lions have won the last 4 meetings against Green Bay. Detroit certainly has put up some solid defensive numbers. We're interested in defensive dogs. That being said, the Packers are in quadruple revenge at home on Monday Night Football. And from a strength of schedule standpoint, Green Bay certainly faced a litany of tougher defenses than Detroit has faced so far. So there's a reasonable case to be made for both sides tonight. I happen to think that one of the two sides is strong and is worth a wager. So I'm involved with that again right now. Just $9 at sportsmemo.com on $9 Monday.
All right, Teddy. Thursday Nighter, NFL opening line report podcast. We got a night game on Thursday. Kansas City at Denver. Looks like a mile high here. And the Chiefs laying 3.5 on the road. Man, this isn't the same Chiefs offense that opened up the season, at least from my eye, Teddy. It's they hit kind of just not running on all cylinders, it seems. We got 49 as the total. You interested in getting involved in the Chiefs and Broncos in the Thursday Nighter?
So what the primary purpose of this podcast, we're going to break down every game. But if there's one takeaway that we encourage our viewers and our listeners to get from this podcast is, do I bet this? I like this side. Do I bet it now or do I wait? The whole concept here is, what do we need to bet Monday morning? What are we going to wait until later in the week? Which sides are moving? Which sides aren't? Where's the sharp action going? Why is it going that way? What are the lines in comparison to last week, et cetera, et cetera? So it's not a true, all right, here's team A, here's team B. Let's break down these two games, these two teams. It's about the entirety of the betting marketplace on a Monday morning and what bettors want to be thinking about and want to be doing. So in this game, as I do with every game, we're going to talk about the look-ahead line from last week. I use the Westgate Superbook numbers. There are a couple of books that post look-ahead lines, but these are bettable numbers for last week, so we understand how much the line has moved off of 1 week's worth of performances. And I'm going to give you my powering number for every team, for every game, I should say. So the look-ahead line here was Chiefs minus 4.5. My powering number is Chiefs minus 4. The markets are at 3.5. And we're seeing a lot of money on the under in this ballgame at the opener, with Denver coming off a shutout win yesterday. Kansas City was on their way to another blowout win yesterday, and there was a weird offensive pass interference that wasn't called and resulted in an interception as they were about to go up 3 scores when the two receivers kind of got crossed up, and it was just a weird play. And then from that time, Patrick Mahomes re-injured his leg, and from that time, the Chiefs offense was out of sync the rest of the way. They were on their way to a blowout, and then it all changed at once. What didn't change was the Chiefs defense. The whole second half for Kansas City, they had 3 drives in the second half. The first one was a touchdown. They went 3 and out and 3 and out. In between, the Texans had like a 8-minute drive and a 7-minute drive. KC just couldn't get off the field. So from a defensive dog standpoint, one team coming off the shutout loss, one team with some ugly defensive numbers, where the pros are going to be. They're going to look at the Denver side in this game. That's why it's 3.5 right now from the 4 or 4.5s, with the KC traveling off a short week. All that being said, who the Joes are going to be on. This is absolutely going to be a sharp square divide game. If you're betting at a recreational book, you need to get involved with Kansas City sooner. If you're betting at a book that caters to wise guys, you need to get involved with Denver sooner. This will be clearly a sharp square divide game.
Wow, Teddy. And that's the first time I've ever heard you say that in terms of jumping on a number, square and sharp in terms of which sports books this early in the week. Do you think that there actually could be a divide enough, more than, let's say, a half a point discrepancy between the two sides?
Let me just look right now. Maybe. Yes, maybe.
Interesting.
And certainly on game day, I would anticipate we're going to see 3s on the Chiefs at some books and 4s on the Chiefs at other books.
Wow, in the NFL, that's very rare, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it might be 3 minus 20, but yeah, it wouldn't shock me to see that. I'll leave it at that. I mean, the market tends to be efficient, but on game day, you may well see a significant disparity.
Good stuff there, Teddy. We got Sunday slate here. 10 a.m. Pacific kick. Arizona at the New York Giants. West Coast team traveling east. 49.5 the total here. Seeing 3 flat. We're seeing a 2.5 out there at some shops. That's the Giants laying at home.
Let's get the music. Doodly-oop, doodly-oop, doodly-oop. If you want Giants. You didn't get that. You didn't get it yet. And I keep doing like the Wayne's World theme.
No, that's good. That one works. I mean, or we go with a loud horn or something.
So, the bottom line is Giants are going to 3. There are 2.5s out there right now. They will not be there tomorrow when we talk about this game. They may not be there in a couple hours when we talk about this game. The look-ahead line was 3. My powering number is 3.5. The 2.5s aren't going to last. So if you like the Giants, find a 2.5 now. They're still, fairly widely available right now. The markets are moving to 3, but I'm seeing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different books on my screen right now that have 2.5s out there. So again, I'm not convinced they're going to be there. And certainly, from a spot standpoint, Arizona off back-to-back wins, the Giants off a Thursday night blowout loss. It's a situation where the Giants are going, the money that's already come is a leading indicator of what's going to come. So if you like the Giants, sooner rather than later, just one of 3 emergency betting alerts on today's broadcast.
All right, we got 2 more coming up. Just have to wait and see where they land. We got the second game up, Houston at Indianapolis. Indy -1, seeing -1.5, also seeing -2. So some discrepancy in the market, some opinion from the odds makers. We got 48 as the total. Houston versus Indy, Teddy.
Yeah, the difference between 1 and 2 isn't any opinion by the odds makers. Some books are very concerned about teasers. Other books aren't as concerned about teasers with their openers. So you'll see some books hang a 2 instead of a 1 or a 1.5, just as a 1 to keep teams down to the teaser up to 7, as opposed to the 1.5 or 2, where the teaser would get it up to above that touchdown. So you will see some books between 1 and 2 has to do with teaser liability as much as any other factor. Look at line here was Indy 1.5. My powering number is Indy -2. Pay attention to the injury report for the Texans. They had some offensive line injuries yesterday, and that's one thing that team cannot handle. But I don't see this line moving a whole lot. 1.5, 2, 1. It's going to stay less than a field goal. It's not going down to pick them. It's going to be in this range all week.
Good stuff, Teddy. We got Miami at Buffalo in the AFC East. 39.5 the total. Low total here, Teddy. 16.5. That's Buffalo laying at home.
Yeah, betting mark. The look-ahead line here was Buffalo -15.5. My powering number is Buffalo -18. That might be a little bit high. The Bills aren't the team to lay 18 with necessarily, even coming off a bye. Miami played a relatively competitive game yesterday. Josh Rosen got, the offensive line looked awful, really awful. And Josh Rosen got benched, and then Ryan Tannehill let him back, and they missed a 2-point conversion at the end of the game. They covered a point spread, though, and they lost the game by only 1 point, which is a big improvement from where Miami has been. That being said, the Dolphins brought a lot more defensively than I expected yesterday, flat out. I haven't seen the defense play that well this season, but in terms of where this number is going, Miami's not going to be a team that people are backing. Wise guys aren't backing Miami. We saw the money pour in on Washington before kickoff, and that was all sharp money on the Redskins. Dolphins are a one-way team in the betting markets now, so if you want to bet against them, you want to do that sooner rather than later. Again, 16.5 now. You can anticipate this will go to 17 or higher.
Next 2 games, we got a limited marketplace with the Monday Nighter. Minnesota at Detroit, seeing 1. The Vikings laying on the road, 44 the total, Teddy.
Yeah, and this is really a mixed spread right now. There's -1s for Minnesota. There's -1s for Detroit. There's pick'ems. The look-ahead line here is pick'em. My powering number is pick'em. If the Lions look good tonight, they'll probably be a point favorite, and they'll be the -1. If the Lions look bad tonight, they'll probably be a +1 dog. But I don't necessarily think that, even if the Lions lose 49-0 or win 49-0, Detroit's not coming 3. This line's not coming 3 either way. So as for the second one, look headline was Packers -7. My powering number is Packers -6.5. And the markets are moving to 6.5 right now. There were mostly 7s that I saw. Now there's more 6.5. Oakland deserves some respect in the betting markets. They played a lot better than they were than many expected to, and the strength of that Raiders team, what they were able to do against Chicago with their offensive line, that has to stand in people's minds. I would think that even if the Packers win and cover tonight, I don't know that Oakland is going to go off at anything but 6.5. I would take a 7 with Oakland. I don't think it goes higher.
And Teddy mentioned it before. We got $9 Monday at sportsmemo.com. All the plays, even 5% plays for later in the week that are out right now. Every play discounted to just $9. Great day to check out the website, $9 Monday on sportsmemo.com. This is also the NFL Opening Line Report podcast. We'll be doing this each and every Monday throughout the NFL season with Teddy Covers. Feel free to reach out on Twitter at SportsMemo with any questions you want answered on the podcast. Keeping in mind, we're going to hit every game anyway, but any outside questions that you'd like to ask Teddy or myself, feel free to reach out on Twitter at Sports Memo. We also got the coupon code Teddy29. That's TEDDY 29 at checkout. We'll give you Teddy Covers 3-day all access at sportsmemo.com for just $29, less than $10 a day. You can use that today. Coupon code Teddy29 at checkout. Teddy, next game up, we got Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Looks like the Jags laying 3 plus some juice here with the mustache, man. The market's starting to like him, or maybe just not like Cincinnati here. 43.5 I'm seeing as the total.
Look ahead line was Jags -3. My powering number is Jags -3, and the markets are Jags -3 with a little bit of juice. We saw a fair bit of money come on the dog last night. Now today we're seeing the money come on the favorite, and that means that this doodly-oop is emergency betting alert number 2. If you like Jacksonville, lay the 3 right now. I do anticipate this number is going to go back up to 3.5. We're already seeing 3.5s out there. The money right now is 3 -20, -15, -18. There's definitely I'm not going to say groundswell of support, but there's definitely some support for the Jags in the market. Look, the Bengals covered yesterday against Baltimore. They were not the right side in that ball game. The Ravens had these 2 really long drives in the second half. They settled for field goals. That was the difference in the point spread. Since they made a couple of stops and they got punched in a couple of cheap TDs in that contest, they were literally outgained almost 2-1. Close to 500 yards they gave up, and they gained only 250. The markets aren't high on the winless Bengals right now. Jacksonville ran into a D. I mean, let's give the Saints credit. The Saints were really good. Their defense was great yesterday, but it was the first game that Minshew looked like a rookie. He had a lot of problems yesterday, and the market's certainly expecting him to bounce back strong against a weaker defense this next week. If you like the Jags, bet him sooner rather than later.
We got the LA Rams, Teddy, the team I lost on yesterday, at the Atlanta Falcons. Rams laying 3 on the road. I like this number again, Teddy. I like the Rams here. 54 the total. What are you thinking?
Feels cheap, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. Looks short.
Look headline here, Rams -4. My powering number, Rams -4. The Falcons finding another way to lose yesterday. Of all the ways to lose for Atlanta, you fight tooth and nail to get back into that ball game. And lo and behold, what happens? Your kicker, and it's Matt Bryant. He had 3 missed extra points in like 11 years or something in his career. And he missed yesterday, which obviously burned Atlanta backers. But now you're talking about a team that's 1-5, and their defense can't get a stop. And obviously, the number, which was, again, for the look-ahead line, for my powering number, and I'm not that, the Rams yesterday, you have to make an adjustment off L.A. Both sides of the ball, that team's struggling. And now we've seen, it's been like 5 times where this Rams offense, when they face a good defense, just can't move the football. Whether it was the Patriots in the Super Bowl, or whether it was the Bears last year, or whether it was what was the game this year? The Rams couldn't move the. I mean, there was one that they just couldn't move the ball at all. And I mean, yeah, yesterday was embarrassing, dude. They threw the ball 28 times. Sorry, 28 dropbacks. He got sacked 4 of them. The only thing they got off 24 passes. They had 1 passing first down.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
You know, Goff is lost right now, and McVay is the quarterback whisperer. Is you know, so maybe Atlanta's defense is the defense that gets them right. But the issues with the Falcons are very clear and very public. The issues with the Rams, maybe a little quieter, but there's, you know, it's the first 3-game losing streak of the McVay era. It was the mother of all spot plays yesterday. They got out to the early lead, and that was it. And that game ended for the Rams when they went for it on 3rd and 4th down from the 1-yard line. Couldn't punch in either time. The game was over after that. That was it. They did nothing the rest of the way, and that's a concern when you go on the highway, you know, even against a struggling team like Atlanta. That being said, the only way the money can come here is to the Rams. No one's betting the Falcons. They bet the Falcons last week again. But I haven't seen any indication that it's going to be real money coming on LA. Nothing yet. I'll put it that way. So there's no emergency here if you like the Rams. That being said, let's like the Rams locking at 3. You know, that line can go one direction. It's not going to go down.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Rams here. It's just always tough, and a lot of sports bettors out there know what I'm talking about in terms of you lose on a team, going back at them the next week's always kind of a tough thing to do. But I like this here. You know, it's one of the circled as far as betting on the NFL slate. Just wanted to throw a profile question out at you, Teddy. You know, Goff as a quarterback, he's one of those quarterbacks I feel against a bad defense, he can light it up. You know, if he has time to throw, he's accurate. But against a really good defense with a pass rush, he's terrible. He's one of the bottom 3rd quarterbacks in the NFL. So in this situation, that's kind of why I like the Rams here on the road. I don't know. You got any quick words on that?
It's absolutely the type of spot where if the Rams offense is any good, they should get to, you know, 4 touchdowns or more in this game.
Okay.
The question is the Rams offense any good?
Well, I mean, what's changed that much from last year?
The offensive line stinks right now, and Goff has happy feet, and the receiver. I mean, where's their playmakers and wide receiver this year?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I got 3 different factors for LA. You know, the offensive line play is way down from where it was a year ago. The quarterback play is way down from where it was a year ago, and the receiver play is way down from where it was a year ago. That's significant.
Yeah. No, you're right. Those are.
And now, and the other thing is that now there's a clear blue plan. You know, there's a blueprint on how to shut down LA, and the better defensive coaches are figuring it out.
Good stuff. Teddy covers. Check him out at sportsmemo.com. Coupon code Teddy29 at checkout gives you his 3-day all access for less than $10 a day. Just $29. Teddy29 at checkout. Sportsmemo.com. 3-day all access. San Francisco, the team that put it on the Rams yesterday at Washington. Man, laying doubles on the road, Teddy. -10. There is a 9.5 out there. 42 the total.
Yeah, it's not a Niner spot. Look at headline here. San Fran -8.5. My power rating, San Fran -10. The Niners coming off the blowout win over Cleveland on Monday Night Football, followed by the dominant effort in a statement game in their division yesterday. Now they travel east to face a team coming off their first win, and they're laying doubles or 9.5. This line's not going up. You know, it's not. Maybe some of the square shops will get to 10.5. But the broader markets are going to be recognizing the spot here for San Francisco as let's get it. Then again, Garoppolo wasn't great yesterday. Garoppolo's been hit or miss at times this season. But I don't anticipate this. You know, this is going to be another sharp score divide game. The pros will be on the Redskins as home dogs, simply because of the spot for San Fran. I would anticipate, and that's why we're seeing the 10s already down to 9.5 in a lot of spots.
Teddy, the best thing about the Chargers yesterday was their uniforms, man. Those baby blue uniforms are nice. Other than that, the team did not look very good. They're going on the road now at Tennessee. They're catching 38 the total.
And Titans didn't look very good either, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a pick your poison game. Look ahead line was pick 'em. My powering number is Tennessee 2.5. I'm not high on LA. I'm kicking myself for not having the Steelers last night. I was pissed off last night. So as soon as I turned that game on, it was 14-0. I'm like, what the, you know, when you're like debating, you're like, I was really pissed. with that one, all that said is, last week was last week. We've seen the Chargers bounce back off of these spots from a pure talent standpoint. The Chargers aren't hopeless. And the Titans but the Titans are playing defense and the Chargers aren't, and that's a significant issue for me. But Mariota's hopeless right now. I mean, if you watch that Denver game, it is not a quarterback with confidence. They have playmakers at receiver, but the offensive line can't protect the QB, and the QB's got happy feet, and that's a problem against anyone if the Chargers can get a pass rush. Two pretty disappointing teams that my gut reaction is I don't know where this line is going to move. I don't think it, the one feels about right. This is not an emergency betting alert game.
All right, we got one emergency betting alert game left, according to Teddy before the show. We got 4 games left. Baltimore at Seattle up next in the Pacific Northwest. 3 in the hook. That's the Seahawks laying at home. 51 the total, Teddy.
Yeah, now that I'm looking, this is the third right here. Was if you wanted 4 with Baltimore, grab it now. Yeah, but in the so I write these down before we get on the pod, and then it's already gone. Mostly there's still a couple of 4s out there, but they're 4, plus 08, plus 09. They're the 4s are pretty much gone. So I apologize. The emergency betting alert is already done before the show's gone. That being said, Seattle, the key injuries yesterday for Seattle, and the Ravens won by the box score looked better than the final score, a lot better than the final score against Cincinnati. The markets will respect that and reflect that. This, how do I phrase that? At 5-1, there are still some significant issues with the Seahawks. Russell Wilson's played as well as any quarterback in the NFL this year with very little hype. If you ask me, at week 6, I might make him the MVP right now. Seattle's without Russell Wilson, they a 1 or 2 win team.
Yeah, not at
this moment.
He's playing good ball.
He's playing incredible ball. But around him, there are some issues with Seattle that have yet to be fully exploited. Baltimore might be the team to do that. The market's already showing that. Look ahead line here with Seattle -4. My powering number, Seattle -4.5. Those are disappearing, as I mentioned, very quickly. If you like the Ravens, you may still find a +4 when this podcast gets released, but unfortunately, they are no longer widely available.
Next game up, Teddy, 2 good defenses here, and we're seeing it in the total, sub 40, 38.5 being the total between the New Orleans Saints and the Chicago Bears. We're seeing the Bears laying 3 is some juice at Soldier Field.
Yeah, look ahead line here at the Westgate was 3. My powering number is Chicago -2.5. And look, I mean, I understand the Saints offense is not anywhere close to being the same without Drew Brees behind center. And Bridgewater has been, he had the one good game against Tampa, but a lot of it's been game management. Saints defense is winning games right now. The Saints defense beat Dallas by themselves. Mm-hmm. They won against Jacksonville pretty much by themselves. That's not good news for anyone that has under 10.5 Saints wins in their pocket, unfortunately. But it's the defense has really impressed the hell out of me. And I mean, the Bears offense has had their fair share of problems. So, Chicago coming off the bye, the markets, this is, in October, this is the truth of it, Drew. And I want to talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
In October, we've seen it happen. I've seen it happen fairly consistently, where the betting public is ahead of the wise guys for a few weeks. Because the wise guys are betting what teams are supposed to be, and the betting public is betting what teams actually are. And in October, teams are what they are. We've seen the Bears, that offense isn't good. Last time we saw Chicago, their defense got gashed. That's a concern. New Orleans is this team that the wise guys seem to say, well, they don't have Bridgewater, therefore they're not any good. Or they don't have Breeze, therefore they're not any good. And all they do is winning and covering and winning tight games and covering and playing good football. Sean Payton's play calling has been brilliant during this span. So the broader markets are still looking at New Orleans and saying, well, this team's at least a field goal worse than they were with Breeze, or 4 points or 5. But they're not. They're not. The one right cut that I made this last, I was seriously considering the Jags. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just not stepping in front of this Saints team again. And I'm glad I didn't, and I'm not going to step in front of them here. But the broader markets will. The wise guys will continue to step in front of New Orleans. They don't have that problem that you're talking about where they back a team one week and it loses, or they fade a team one week and it loses. They'll come back the next week and the next week and the next, because they're only answering to themselves. They don't have to answer to, they're not here to getting questions and saying, hey, what the hell are you doing? Having bad clients. They say, my number says you're supposed to take, the bet against the Saints this week. They'll bet against the Saints this week and the next week and the week after and the week after. They continue to do that. Chicago off the bye is going to be the popular wise guy choice this week. This too likely to be a sharp score divide game.
Teddy covers on why the wise guys might be behind in the month of October in the NFL. Good stuff there from Teddy Covers. We got Philadelphia at Dallas. The Cowboys laying 3 in Jerry's World. 49 the total Sunday Night Football here, Teddy.
Look ahead line here, a Dallas 2.5. My powering number, Dallas 2.5. The markets are at 3, mostly 3 even money, 3 plus money. This line's going to bounce 2.5, 3 all week. It'll depend somewhat on the Eagles injury report. That secondary looked pretty rough yesterday. And the pass rush, the strength of the Eagles is supposed to be on the defensive line. And that pass rush has been hit or miss. They got blown off the line of scrimmage. They were never in that game at Minnesota yesterday. And some of it was funkiness. And, they went for it on 4th down a couple times and tried that fake field goal before halftime and had a bunch of things go wrong. But defensively, the Eagles' defense is problematic right now. Their whole defense is predicated on getting a pass rush to protect their secondary. And the pass rush isn't there. And the secondary is injury riddled. So markets will reflect that. And, of course, Jason Garrett's job on the line again. For the 50,000th time.
Yeah, really.
And again, Dallas, everyone's like, oh, what was wrong with Dallas yesterday? The Jets are a lot better with Sam Darnold, and Dallas came out and they made mistakes. They looked flat. They didn't look hopeless. They're not awful. Again, 2.5, 3, it's going to stay in this range all week. I don't anticipate a significant move here.
One game left, guys, and Teddy covers Monday, each and every Monday throughout NFL season. We got the Opening Line Report podcast, also simulcast on the YouTube channel. Check that out as well. We got video now of the podcast, but podcast is the original form, and we got the coupon code TEDDY29 at checkout, sportsmemo.com. Get his 3-day all access for just $29. Quick look ahead towards the Monday Nighter, Teddy. We'll also hit on it quickly at the top of the next Opening Line Report next Monday. But we got New England at the New York Jets, AFC East rivalry here. 9.5. That's with the Patriots laying on the road as we speak. 42 the total.
There was no look-ahead line for this game. They wouldn't put up a look-ahead line in a game where they didn't know if Darnold was going to play, and Darnold wasn't announced until later in the week. My powering number has New England 11, and I'm fairly high on the Jets. These teams played just a couple of weeks ago, was 31-0 until the Jets had the 2 cheapest touchdowns you'll ever get and actually covered the number in that contest. The Jets are a very different team with Sam Darnold than without him. And you heard the quotes. If you read some of those post-game quotes yesterday.
No, I haven't.
The funny stuff about Luke Falk, the quarterback that was cut. This guy started and then got cut. Luke, when you have a team that cannot throw the football at all, and then all of a sudden you get a quarterback who can throw the football, it's a big boost. And the Jets off that win, it's a big boost for that team. That being said, you can anticipate where the public money's going to go when the Jets play the Patriots. It's not going to be on the Jets. If you like New England, not going to hurt you to grab a 9.5 right now. I don't think that line is going to come down any more than that.
Teddy, great podcast. As always, NFL Opening Line Report. I got one quick follow-up question for you. It's a philosophical question because I don't think we'll be able to talk Luke Falk here for quite some time. There's one thing I remember when he left college at Washington State. He didn't play in his bowl game, and it's not like he was a top 10 projected quarterback. And whenever a quarterback does that, not play in the bowl game, right before they quit on their team, I don't like that quarterback heading into the NFL unless they're like a top 10 projected quarterback. And you think there's anything with that philosophy?
No. Things are changing now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, yeah. 5 years ago, maybe even, yeah. Now, players understand that they need to do what they, we're not talking about small financial decisions. We're talking about the difference between getting drafted and not getting drafted is hundreds of thousands of dollars. The difference between getting drafted in the first round and getting drafted in the The fifth round is millions of dollars. So we're not talking
that's
about,
my point.
yeah, we're not talking about small financial decisions for these kids. I don't blame them for sitting and the way that people would have sat a few years ago. And if I remember correctly, was that the game against Sparty? Was that the game against Michigan State?
I don't remember. I
think it was. And Washington State was going to get killed in that game. Their defense was going to get killed, and his draft stock was going to get killed because they couldn't stop. Because the Sparty's defense was going to eat them up. So I don't blame him in that instance. Right. No, I mean Luke Falcons isn't an NFL quarterback. It's not his personality. It's his arm.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I think I'm on to something. I'll try to think of another example and throw it out there. But anyway, Teddy, the opening line report, fun like always. Good stuff here. Betting alerts and all. But anything else you want to throw out before we shut this down?
No. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to spend with Drew and I. And we'll do it again later in the week when it comes to college football. And we'll do it again next Monday with another opening line report in the NFL.
Well said, Teddy. Well done. Check them out at sportsmemo.com. Coupon code Teddy29 at checkout. 3-day all access. Sportsmemo.com. We'll have Teddy on Thursday. College football, every game on the board podcast. Guys, best of luck with your bets. We'll talk tomorrow.